Hello friends, I'm Colonel Failure and this is Transport Fever back in the Alps once again. Last time around we spent what I estimate was around $250 million of your train bucks on putting together a brand new route that went through the rather heinous level of environmental damage that we'd afflicted previously on the Alps. And that's bedding in, as you can no doubt see. I thought we'd start here with a nice view in that way that I always try and start you off with a nice view before wrecking everything in some fashion. Now then, it was asked in the comments last time around, why am I still using the no costs mod? To which I answer the question with, I think I probably spent around $250 million setting this line up. Yeah, effectively, had I not got no costs turned on, we wouldn't have this route. So there you go, that's your answer to that. Anyway, no costs is still on for one final episode as we tidy this route up a bit, make it look a little bit more presentable, and hopefully make the landscape just ever so slightly more natural in nature. So yes, today we're going to have a fairly large amount of tree gun deployed, some rocks removal, and more smoothing than you can shake a very smooth stick at. So please stick around and enjoy the show. We start our mission today where we ended it last time, at Aquarosa. I still haven't decided really. I'll pronounce it in varying different ways until I find one that really pops for me. Because I want to set up a commuter route here, because despite the fact that my intention with having no costs on is not to cheat my way to glory, instead what I want to do here is simply to get things rolling so that when I turn costs back on again, I don't immediately hemorrhage all cash that would lead to future growth. So I'm going to set up a very simple bus route for now, but my longer term plans, as far as this area of the map is concerned, is a little bit more, what's a good word here? Complex, a little more complex than that. But we're not going to get to that today. So I just want to get at a very simple, maybe 3, maybe 4 stop bus route, and I'll run it in my standard figure 8 configuration in order to make that work, just to try and get a few more passengers on the train. But over the course of this episode, we are going to go the length of the track, as smoothing as we go, and plonking down trees and rocks and whatever else feels appropriate. In order to get the thing looking a little bit more majestic. Right, we start on Queen Street, and then hold on, no, everything drives on the other side of the road. There you go, good work. Now you see, what you should have is you want one out here. All right, well it's going to be a 5-stop then, isn't it? Right, that's pretty straightforward. Right, let's change the colour of this so we can see what the heck's going on. Right, add another one over here. Exactly, and then the next one more, and this one, and that should. No, you've made a meal out of that somewhere. Did you not put 2 stops down here? You did put 2 stops. Then why is it? Oh no, that's fine. This is all good. It's a bit odd, but it's all good. Right, and then we're back to the beginning again because you can't do a turnaround. You don't have a turn unless you use George Street as the turnaround, in which case after Richmond Road, George Street, Richmond Road, then hold on, don't tie your brain in a knot, man. You're tying your brain in a knot. That's a thing that's happening. So I want to go back from Richmond to George, but we're going to have to come back from somewhere else. So from George we go to West Street. This is either going to work or it's not. Then green, and then back to the station, and then up to Richmond, which we don't need to mention. And then up to Richmond, and then up to George. Right, which should have George as the. Let's measure this properly, shall we? And that's because we can go either way around the George Street circle here. That's the wonkiest circle you've ever seen. So if we start at Queen, let's make sure this makes sense. Queen, 1, 2, 3, and 4 somewhere or another. Where's 5? Where did you leave 5? Oh, you've made a complete dog's dinner of this. Delete all of it. You could probably do it right, but you haven't. So we'll do it again. This was supposed to be the quick bit before you got onto the meat of the thing. Right, down to Richmond, and then out to the station, round the corner. There you go. See, this is a much easier way to do it. And then up to West, then back to George, and then back to West. That's it. And then back to Green, back to Queen, back to Richo. Job's a good one. That might in fact be exactly the same as what I did previously, but you know, who's counting other than, you know, you. Right, so this is AQ. Come on, delete away, please. Thank you. AQ commuter, which is what we will call it. And then let's just get some buses going on here. I know, trams are the hot thing, and several of you have mentioned, hey, did you see the light railway mod? And I said, yes, I did see the light railway mod. Initially, I was giving it just a little gestation time for the kinks to be worked out of it. I think this top-seater is rather splendid. Let's go for 3. Set line. AQU commuter. And I do have plans vis-a-vis the light railway mod, but they're not for today. They're for another day. Right, okay, so next up we'll get rid of, confirm the destruction. You see, as much as that safety feature has been put in for my benefit, I think nobody else benefited from that in the slightest. I'm the one who spends countless millions, if not more, on accidentally deleting stuff. And you know what? That's my own flipping fault. If I were to be a little less hasty, I wouldn't do it quite so often. Take the safety net away, boys. I don't need it. Give me the option to de-safety net myself. If you're a maker of mods and you want to disable that feature, I encourage you to call it Kernel Failure's Safety Net Removal Mod. Feel free, I'd do it myself, in which case it would possibly, you know, have some kind of right to have my name on it. But as it turns out, I don't have the time to teach myself how to do a bit of lure. I'll make a map once in a while, but maybe a bit of a logo. You feel like making a road? There you go. I don't really want you going straight up in the air. Do you feel like maybe not doing that? That's the ticket. Keep it on the straight. Right, now I'm sticking this in for the reasons that I always stick this stuff in, and that is in order to encourage the AI to help to develop this town, as much as it is very much a town right now. We do have aspirations for it to be a city of some description at some point. No? You're not going to... You want to come back to the surface already? That doesn't seem right to me. No, you see, you're underground. Right, and then I'm going to lead you from there up to here. That's one way to do it. It makes a change from building a ruddy great bridge over the top of things. And then we'll continue the track just so that said AI friend doesn't get any wizard ideas all of a sudden. Because you know what they're like. You turn them loose on a bit of city building, and before you know it, they've built all over the flipping shop. Right, okay, so that's for future expansion. I am going to take this train line a little bit further, but not today. And I'll be paying for it with my own hard-earned spending money. Right, so a bit of smoothing out here. The AI will do quite a lot of that if it decides to plonk some buildings in. And the commuter route has already had a bit of an effect, or the transit of passengers in this direction has had a bit of an effect, in that we've got some construction going on here. Right, let's take that lot out a smidge as well. Okay, good. Now, town beautification is not really on my to-do list for today. Instead, what I want to do is I want to remove some of the hard edges that the ploughing through has done. My goal will not be to remove all the hard edges because Hard edges do occur in nature, particularly if you've recently bulldozed them. I think you'll find. But taking some out, most definitely. Now, this town is kind of the return to the warmer climate that exists below the snow line. So one of the things that's going to matter here is getting some greenery on the go. Actually, let's show these people how we do things in Smooth Town. There you are. Give you a bit of that. Just look, make it a bit more pleasant. I mean, otherwise you're going to have kids trying to play football, and the ball will fall off the edge of a cliff, and they'll go running down for the 4.5 days it takes them to go and retrieve their ball, and they'll give up on football. They'll just give up on it. They'll go inside and play video games about trains, and then where will we be? Answers on a postcard. Right. Okay. Good. That looks a little neater. If a little too neat, and that's what I want to avoid is too much neatitude as part of this overhaul. Right. But it is in fact tree gun time. So we'll plough in just a few trees. Now I know I've got the other side of the station there, which, if it decides to expand at some point, may well take out this miraculous foliage that I'm deploying, and I'm fine with that. But that needs to be organic growth's choice rather than mine as a tree planter with a heavy hand. There we go. Let's do some of this. Not much. I don't want to go. Let's not go overboard here. Just, a bit of a patch here and there, and then hopefully this town will grow, and all of this stuff will get removed through that growth. The patch of ground there is perhaps a little off compared to the snow, but we can say that's the green shoots of recovery and or a bit of global warming doing its thing. Right, let's make sure we're not running into our electrification here, otherwise there'll be hell to pay. Leaves on the line will be the worst of your worries. It'll be some kind of conifer landing on top of your catenary, and now that'll lead to some delays, I'll tell you. Right, okay, let's back to the smoothing gun here. Just even up this edge a bit. Right. Okay, good. Right, Aquarossa, it was lovely to see you. We're leaving. We're off. We're out of here. Now, when I develop that town a little bit further, and I do want to get goods flowing to as many towns as I can, that's not to say that this one will definitely be a recipient, but that would be nice. When we hit that point, I'll be back and we'll update it a bit further. But I want to see what the AI makes of things first. This isn't so bad, actually. So, and one of the things that bugged me, and I know it bugged several of you with the development that we've done here, was the sheer amount of bridging going on. Now, with this one, I could quite easily, in fact, I might still, I could bend it out this way and snake further into the hillside, so we don't have as much bridge as we've got. There's no real avoiding it when you get down to this stage. Several of you suggested that I tunnel and do kind of a downward spiral tunnel. I've given that a go before, but in all honesty, the size of loop that you're going to need, and I'm reluctant to do it because I'll just want to remove it again afterwards. If we start here. Right. Now, I'm only doing this because we are able to leave the tunnel intact, and we'll never have to actually look at it. Let's turn the electrification off just so you can see it. Right, that's just a bit of straightish track to start us off. Now, if we go around in a maximum curve, as we have done there, and we send that down. No, you had it right the first time. Send it down as much as possible. All right, and then we keep going down. Oh, is it actually going to comply? I don't think we're going to get under there, you know. I think it's just as likely to crash the game. Oh, hello. You can get under there. Well, that's interesting. It's not quick. I mean, this is not the tidiest spiral you're ever going to see. Oh, hold on, wait, gently. You go too fast, and you're doing another hilarious montage of you rebuilding what you've just done. And, well, you've not done very much yet. This is more of a corkscrew than a spiral. What do you know? It works. There, I was thinking there was no chance that was going to pay off. Well, there's a thing. There you go. You get a kind of an impression of how that's going to actually pay off. All right. Okay. Right. Can we bulldoze this? Yes, we can. This ethereal tunnel can be corkscrewed out downwards. Interesting. Okay, I hadn't thought. I don't know why I just deleted there, but it was 100 quid a go to do so. That's. I hope that wasn't someone's house. That would be a bit of a shame for that someone particularly. All right. Okay. Interesting. You know what? I'm going to do... I'm not going to build a corkscrew for the stuff that we've already done, but anytime because, I mean, you know, we're in the Alps, so it's not like there will be no more mountain routes, but I think we'll do a corkscrew route at some point. But what I do want to do is I'm going to nail this bridge. If the purpose of what we're doing here is to make this look good, then shut up and make it look good. That was some hardened motivation going on there. A bit of tough love track modification. Now, the train's up there, and actually that's not a bad place to connect up to, so we'll leave that pretty much as it is. The other thing I want to do with this route at some point, and I don't know how, when, or where it's going to do it, is get it connected to a few more places. Now, I've got the station down there that we were tinkering with a moment ago. I've got that set up to go on to greener pastures, both figuratively and literally. But I don't know what those pastures are. I haven't done any surveying of that in the slightest. Right, now, we want to stay off bridging if we can. Contour time. I know, wonders will never see something, isn't it? Flipping contour tool. So if I stay in this one, we should avoid extra. You're going to want your electrification back on there, Chief. Just mentioning it, because I know you care about such things, or rather your trains do, because they won't run without it. Now we're going to lose speed here, but given that the pricing of routes, and I think everybody's agreed on this, the route pricing is based in part on the theoretical top speed of your trains, along with don't tunnel. There you go. That's it. Along with the length of the distance that they're running. Now, I believe that was the case when the game first came out, because it was possible to very slyly create routes to nowhere that just happened to be incredibly long, in order to get some cheesy extra bucks out of things. Oh, but hold on, no, I might be quite happy to tunnel through there. Let's. Now, what sort of approach would you take doing that? A bit of minor tunnel at the end. I don't know. I think that's all right. With a little bit of landscaping work. Some natural fauna and flora. I don't like that it loses speed, but that does look better than the ruddy great bridge that we had before, and I think that will make it all the more scenic to ride along. We're going to need to deal with the previous constructing that we've got going on there, but I'm pretty comfortable with that. Right, over we go. Now, I don't want to make a habit of this. I have no intention of spending all of today's, however long this ends up being, just relaying everything we did last time. You've had enough of it. I've had enough of it. We just want to get on with it now. Get back to disasters avec goods transportation, which I think is rapidly becoming a theme for this series. That said, you know, what we have together developed. You give me your feedback, and I mostly ignore it, but I'm certainly happy to act on it. Basically, if you come up with a scheme I think is a winner, there's a very real chance I'll use it. But remember, I'm not trying to win the game, just trying to play it. There we go. Right, good. That looks all right. That looks pretty good. What do we think? I think that looks good. Right, let's get on a bit of follow mode here. Right, let's set an angle we like the looks of. Let's turn the contours back off again, and let's roll it forward. Right, zoom out a bit. All right, okay, fair play. That's better. I think this kink up here is not making me happiest. I might be tempted to bridge just that section of it, but actually, I quite like it. It does feel like it is the cheaper option. Were I the owner of this railroad and wanted to railway, we're in Europe, and I wanted to maximise my profits. We'd take the cheapest option, and that would be, don't build a bridge unless you absolutely flipping have to. I think we might have to make that a new golden rule. There you go, yeah, bring it up a little bit so that we don't go abruptly into the solid cliffside carving that we've got going on here. And even then I want to even that out some. Can we get rid of that hard line there? No, hard line's here to stay. Oh, look at that. That's what we in the trade call precarious. Now, I wonder. We're in the Alps, famous for being snowy, for being mountains, and for having skiing going on. But if you were creating a disaster movie, it would also be famous for avalanches. I know a thing or two. Let's see what I've got in my box of tricks here that might be some kind of avalanche prevention, something or other. Because I've got some barriers of some description going on here, and I wonder if there's anything that is appropriate. What have we got here? Traffic lights. They're not really going to do it. Containers? Nope. Keep going, keep looking. We'll find them. I've got some. I know I've clicked on them. Oh, while I'm making demands of mod makers, if someone wants to improve on this tiny little menu and do one overhaul of the landscaping tool menu, I think there wouldn't be a single person who plays this who would not say that you were a very splendid individual and worthy of praise. Which I'm sure is a pretty significant bit of motivation for you to do so. I'll leave it with you. Come back to me when you're done. It's not in there. Maybe it's in the... Oh, we did trackside assets. Right, okay, fine. Right, what have we got here? Buffers of many nations. Lots of stuff that we can just leave parked up. Don't worry, I'll be doing that in the fullness of time. We're going to move forward into some sense of making things glamorous as the series develops, and I will be paying for it out of the money the route's carving. This can't be riveting. It suddenly occurs to me this is not going to be the most interesting way I could be spending my time here. GWR water tower. I don't think that's going to do the trick either. Come on, I've got some I've got some sound barriers or something. And I think this is a demonstration as to why my suggestion there is worthwhile, because I'm blowed if I can find what I'm looking for. I'm going to give up in a sec. We're just going to go without them. It's none of this stuff. That's all industrial bit of building. That's some German road thing. All right. I don't know. I'll figure that out. Once I figure out which mod it is in the first place. The forestry stuff. Okay, right. Now then, show me what you got. Bundle of logs. Okay. Log. Okay. Several logs. Okay. Some logs. All right. Lots of logs stacked with a mathematical theme. bundle of logs, no theme. Yes. 3 logs. Right. I think this is the logs section, don't you? Logs. 1 missing. Compulsive disorder warning. Right, okay. More logs. Should we just call this the logs mod? I mean, I like to sling a log, a mod. Hold on, we can vary the the logs. Oh, this is plus lang length. Gross is the number. See, the ein bisschen of German that I might have on my side. That's going to be meters, presumably. Stone meat. Oh, right. Let's go for some Geschlagenbeeten. Ah, dead tree. Okay. And this is a Stending tree. Still growing. Singular trees. This is more variety of trees. Get over the trees. Get out of it. All right. Okay. That's not it either. Right. I've had enough of that. Let's just crack on. That is going to be worthy of further investigation, particularly if I want to beautify my my logging camp. Right, onwards for further smoothing. Step this way for the smoothness. Now, I can't. I saw safety barriers a minute ago. No, I'm not going to go find them. But sticking them along the road here would be a thing that your highways safety agency would undoubtedly approve of. Reduce accidents. Put up barriers. They're going to drive like idiots anyway. Let's try and stop them from careening off the edge of a cliff. If one wishes to careen, they can do it on a private road. Actually, I'm going to... Right, well, we'll leave that hard edge there, but I want to ease into it. Ease, I said. That's not easing. That's abrupt, and now it looks rubbish. Ease in. Ease in. Ease. Somehow I have now transitioned into changing a bit of roadside that nobody is that bothered about using. But maybe, when Michael Caine and the lads arrive, they'll give this a spin. Good, right. You're not getting car sick, you're not getting your migraine, and you're both sitting in the back of the Mini. Right. There we are. Yeah, I know. You'll either appreciate that or you won't. If you appreciate it, you'll correct me on getting that line, the line wrong there. Right, now, this is the biggest, wackinest bridge that we've got. And other than using a corkscrew-style approach to get the altitude down, there really isn't any way to avoid it. But, again, this came from the comments last time. Good stuff, comments. If you've got a thought in your head there, say it, because, we can have a bit of a chat about stuff. I don't mind big, long bridges, right? I don't mind them. What I do mind is big, tall bridges, because they don't look right, and this is no exception. That is too tall a bridge for the level of the level of support that it's getting. Now, I think I've got. Again, we're going hunting for mods there, friends. I'm sure I've got some kind of bridge-based train mod, track bridge type thing. But again, I'm going to be poking around the terrain button thing to try and find it. So we're gonna casually skip over it. But what I want you to be rest assured of is I'm not a fan of it. Okay, this is not a design decision that I opted into. This is one that I'm kind of stuck with for the moment. What we got? Class 94. That might work well up here, as might the OP22. We'll have a. Oh, look at this. Get it. Is it? It's not a complete winner, if I'm honest. Right, let's get rid of some of these boulders. Those of you who are going to go, oh, you should use the Clean Cliffs mod. It is installed and it is running. As you can see, all the cliffs completely clean. Yep, it is on. I've checked. I double checked. I added it last time. with hope in my heart and a spring in my step, and it did nothing. So I've done it again, and it's still installed, and it's still done nothing. These cliffs are not clean, as you can see. These cliffs aren't anything but clean. These cliffs are dirty. But we shall remove, hopefully not the whatever ghostly track that is going through there. We shall remove a few of them in order to aid us in our quest for joy and beauty here. I could remove all of them, couldn't I? There's part of me that wants to just, you know, go to town removing all of them. But I'll be here for the next, I don't know, couple of hours removing these lot. And frankly, life is far too short for that. So we'll remove the most egregious offenders. How can you not like that? That's fantastic. Right, a few more. We'll leave a couple of these tiddlers in place because they don't offend me too greatly. There we go. Right, now then, what don't we like here? I don't like this. The way that this texture has been stretched is it doesn't look great. So I might see if I can ease that in, out, shake it all about. I don't know, whatever it's going to take. At the moment, we're just kind of moving it around a bit, and that's not doing the job. What I'm not looking for is a nice little gentle slope here. All I want to do is just tweak the texture. Now, as you probably noticed a minute ago, I've got a couple of texture brushes in my big box of mods. Incidentally, if you want to find a link to the big box of mods, check the description of this video. I have a Steam collection that contains all of the mods that we're using in this series. And quite a few that I'm probably not. And that's not because I haven't got them installed, it's just because I don't get around to using them. Yeah, okay, right, well that hasn't worked. But yeah, there is a terrain selection in the big box of mods. Let's do a bit of that. And I could start trying to colour this in using an alternative terrain type. But I don't think it's going to. I don't think it's going to look good afterwards. Now, don't terrain alignment the collage here. No, see there it is. That's happening. I'm not running another train line down here. I'm using this as an enhanced smoothing system. I will remove this momentarily. All right, I think I'll remove this now, and then we'll adopt the smoothing tool to try and make that look good. I know why it's not letting me do that bit, and it's because the bridge support is leaning on it. But it seems to be a little bit more tolerant of one's use of a smoothing tool than anything else. Right, okay, we're going to do the same the other side. I want to make a bit of a gully either side of the main tracks here, just to plant an occasional hardy perennial that might actually be able to handle this elevation. Now, that's not going to be. There's not many plants that will handle that, but some will. Because as much as we are above the snow line here, we're also very sheltered. So it should make it so that, you know, one or two trees hither and yon will be able to hack it, as it were. And actually shaving a bit more off the cliff is no bad thing in terms of getting the plane up there. While this is a largely implausible route, you know, don't let me suggest for a second that this is anything other than woefully implausible. You know, we can make it look like it's, you know, oh, okay, maybe they would do that. Actually, I'm trying to convince you it's plausible again. It's not plausible, but it's great. And at some point, I'll be running enough trains up and down here that we will see trains and planes in the same shot. and it will be terrific, and everybody will be a whooping and a hollering. The good news as well is that, and I suspect this, in fact, it's a completely idiotic thing for me to say, it will exist because the designers will have ensured that if you are creating a there and back style plane route, that they take completely different paths, because it's easier to do that than have plain AI take evasive when they see a Dakota coming straight at them. It would be the approach that I took as well, were I to do such a thing. There you go. I know it looks like I'm putting it back in, but what as you can see already, what we've created here is a slightly more gentle base of this cliffside. Although I need to don't get carried away, or you'll ruin everything for everybody. Yeah. And also, by getting rid of this, it removes some of the excessive smoothness that plonking about. Do we want to go for plonking? I go for plonking quite regular. Let's go with plonking. That plonking a significant amount of track will do is make it look like, hang on, there was some track in there and you removed it, you cheeky track remover. Right, there you are. Bit of that. Bit of this. And how do we feel about this? We feel pretty good about it. Let's just even this out over here. No. Bring out the big brush. There you are. Right, that's good. Right, and then let's get rid of some of this shambles. Yes. See, look at that. Beautiful, perfect. At some point, this will be the point at which someone in the comments goes, you know that the Clean Cliffs mod has a button that you have to press in order for it to clean the cliffs. And then it looks like the game's hung for about 5 minutes, but it hasn't. It's just taking all the rocks away. And I go, oh. But I don't think that's the case. Right, let's get rid of these, because these wouldn't want to stay in there. You know, it's not like they've started falling off the top of the mountain and then gone, no, that's it, lads, I've had enough. We'll just hang in here, gravity defying, until such a time as we plummet down and crush a Dakota. Right, all you lot, your history, get out of here. You're not pretty. As much as it does break the landscape up and therefore give it a slightly more naturalistic flavour, the end result is that it looks pretty ugly. Okay. And they're perfectly nice rocks. You stick them down at ground level, they look great. Just stick them up here, they look rubbish. Right, there we go. Good, excellent. How do we feel about that? Well, that already looks better. Yes, it does. I've just put that back in. Did I want to do that? Yes, I do want to do that. Hold on. Look, you've got some proper stretchiness going on there. You see, that's nicer. Right, now we're going to go for a very delicate and understanding use of the tree gun. Oh no, we're not going to use the tree gun. We're going to plonk an occasional small shrub to show that nature has gone, what are you talking about? I can handle this. All right, apparently we coloured that bit in green and that bit as well. All right, well, we don't want to go too far with that. I think we've just made it look rubbish. If I remove these, is it going to stay green? No, it's not. Good. Okay, right. All right, easy. We don't want to dye the entire hillside green. But I do want an occasional bit of small brush. Please. A brush too far. Let's go again. Okay. Seems like one brush, fine. Two brush, fine. Three brush, green. We have a rule. We've worked something out, and excellent. And here we've created a collision hazard, which we will now be removing. Shrinky brush. Get it off the track. No, that's getting it more on the track. We just did a thing that was supposed to deal with this. Now, why do you do this? You infernal flipping infernitude. Which is maybe not a word. Right, get rid of that while we're at it. Here we go. Right, a few more delicate bits of Darwin defying, or maybe Darwin defining foliage here. I'll tell you what, because I'm in the mood, I'm even going to chuck in a casual rock. Hey, I am a very casual rock. Why not come up to my place later? We will rock together. Thank you very much. For some reason, the rock is French. Right. Yeah, bit of that. In fact, we'll have a small team of rocks here, organising some kind of rock rebellion. Comrades, our brothers have been removed from the map. We must avenge them. There comes a point when you do this, you know, that you start to lose your marbles. I think mine are out of here. All right, let's get out of this gully. It's clearly driving me up the wall. But there we go. We've got a little bit of. I think that's foliage too far, that one. But the rest of it, it looks like, you know, it's like moss plus. Let's just make sure we've not got any other ground-based encroachment going on, and we shall press on to our next stop, which is here. Right, here we go. Up the scale of the brush once more. Don't press the right button. Always helps. Ease that out a bit. Looks good. And that. Now, if I did too much of this whole route would be just a little bit faceless. For all of the high adventure and trailblazing nature of it, it would lack a little bit of personality. You got to keep some of the rough edges in. Meanwhile, where are you lot off to? Are you being held up by one of my archaic buses? I don't even need to ask. I know that's going to be the case. You better be full. Thanks, Frankie. Good to know what you're up to. 9 of 9. Excellent. You're on the Alpine local service, which is good. Look at that. Look at the state of this. I bet that's the station, isn't it? It's not even the station. That's the AI. The AI have built something horrible. Well, I would have never expected that. Right, let's... Look, will you just not build horrible things? Otherwise I have to come visiting with Mr. Brush and smooth it all out and make the world a better place. That'll do it. That's all groovy, okay. This bit as well. I mean, I encourage the AI to continue moving into this area, and I will smooth it out afterwards to make it look a little bit less, you know, heinous. Right, good. There we are. Now, this is definitely the end of the line. Is there somewhere I could have gone further than this? We could have gone to Andermatt. And we still might. Maybe I'll turn this into a through station in the future. Maybe. It's unlikely. But I think it might also be quite a good candidate for some light rail. Once we figure out how to do that. I have no intention of turning no costs back on in this series. I would like to very much keep it turned off from here on in and live and die by my own wits, such as they are. But we'll see. Look at this flipping roller coaster. This is the other one, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, now I'm not actually running anything on that yet. You know how I said at the start of the last episode, maybe it would be two parts, maybe it would be 3. It's going to be 3. Progress in this episode? No, not really. But I will leave you with, you know, a minor payoff for persevering, and that is we'll ride the train together, shall we? And I'll talk through what's coming up next. So I said, yeah, last time I said it was maybe 2 parts, maybe 3. It's going to be 3 because I want to redo some of that next route. Maybe we will introduce the corkscrew there. because it's ticking a box. We've got one chap looking up at the mountainside, waiting for the inevitable avalanche to come and destroy this entire peaceful town. He's got on the train going, I'm getting out of here, I'm leaving the mountains for good. You can't stop me, I'm going. Yeah, so we'll fix up the other route so it's not quite as bridgy in the next episode, and do a little bit more route smoothing like we've done here. Now, this is not what I would call full beautification. We're not there yet. Functional, but you wouldn't mind a ride through such as the one we're doing now. That's what we're aiming for in the first instance, because the other route goes through the main canyon and, or does it? This is the small canyon. Hold on, what's that? No, not allowed. Well, maybe it is. They're just a little bit too cone-like, those. But, you know, we're riding through this to make sure that it feels like it could be realistic. Look at that! There's some bushes in here. Wow, it must be a little bit warmer than it is in the surrounding area. Well, yes, dear, I imagine the two cliff sides there offer it quite some shelter, and it is a bit of a sun trap. There you go, that's the justification right there. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for today. Can I make this intro bit last all the way to the station? That's the first question. You know, I've said that because I've felt all of a sudden like maybe I've set off a little early there. However, we persevere. Yeah, so next one will be the last one. Promise, with the no costs switched on, and then we're going to basically blow all of the cash that we've earned on the redevelopment of the major goods system. We're going to set up a hub. We're going to make it beautiful. We're going to spend no small amount of money. This is us slowing to 76, 75. Oh, listen to the squeal there of the yeah, see, you have even minor brake failure there. That's you off the cliff, causing all manner. You'll make worldwide headlines as you plunge into Aqua Rosa. That will be quite the disaster. Yeah, so we're going to finish off, and then we're going to build a massive goods hub over maybe 4 or 5 episodes, and it will be well worth your time tuning in for that. So throw a subscription in this direction if you feel the need to see what Madcap developments develop next in a Madcap fashion, and throw a like at this one if you've made it this far. That's for you. Like it for yourself. Go like, I made it this far, I deserve to press the like button. I don't do it often, but I'm going to do it today. Alternatively, if you like the video, you can do it. Your choice, really, really your choice. Anyway, I've been Colonel Failure. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be back very soon with something that is remarkably similar. That's a good view. From here, look at that. Look up there and tell me that isn't a good view. And I'll tell you you're wrong. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to stop when we finish the station, but I'm going to say cheerio.